And thank you. Now 6:44. They call this transformative for the Virginia Beach oceanfront. As we've reported, 5 years after its announcement, the Atlantic Park development and its massive surf park area have finally broken ground.
Music superstar and beach native Pharrell Williams is the big name attached, but the idea started with two local surfers who didn't know each other, yet they had the same dream.
News 3's Anthony Sabella sat down with them about this becoming a reality and the inspiration that came from thousands of miles away.
I grew up very familiar with this building. Everybody lives around the perimeter, this green space in the center where all the kids play. All the neighbors are a community that live around it. And it's not too different. The center becomes a playground, but the playground becomes embedded in the culture of Virginia Beach. The playground is surfing. This is across multiple city blocks. And all these city blocks are sort of looking down at this spectacle.
The biggest new development in Virginia Beach, sketched before our very eyes inside Hambury Architecture's office in Norfolk.
Now it becomes this like extroverted idea of public space.
The roots of Atlantic Park found in Eastern European apartment living. That's what Alek Yuzhbabenko knows. The design lead for the project did spend his early years in Ukraine, after all. Then the last 20 or so, mostly in Virginia Beach.
This city raised me, so it's like, how can I give back? And this is my way of giving back.
A $335 million 11-acre build in the heart of the city's resort area. Homes, shops, a 70,000 square foot music venue, and in the middle of it all, the artificial surf park that's got everybody talking.
I didn't blink. I jumped at it.
The Pharrell Williams-backed project is finally breaking ground 5 years after the initial announcement and a decade after Yuzhbabenko designed an earlier version for his architecture thesis at Virginia Tech.
I saw these two parking lots between 20th and 18th Street, Pacific and Arctic. This is prime land in the center of Virginia Beach. Why hasn't anything been done with this?
And so he says he made something up he thought would best fill the space, but a surf park was always at the center.
Surfing was something that I loved doing, but Virginia Beach doesn't sort of give the supply.
And that's where things get kind of weird.
You're sitting there thinking like, can I just push a button and make waves come?
A question Joe LaMontagne says he's thought of too many times while surfing the Atlantic here. He says the idea of creating his own waves first popped into his head back in the late 90s. He was at a surfing competition down in Orlando, and the competitors were riding on a wave pool.
We should have one of these here.
And for nearly 20 years, that thought lingered until the now founder of H2O Investments says he met with Venture Realty Group as the city began requesting proposals for the former site of the Virginia Beach Dome, the same site Yuzhbabenko covered in his thesis a couple years prior. Now an actual architect, he says his firm told him to dust that thesis off.
They were saying like, this is incredible, let's go with that, because we just had somebody asking us about doing a surf park.
So you have these two people thinking about the same thing coming together and meeting at this same time. It was almost like it was meant to be.
Pharrell soon got involved and the venture-led submission was selected. Initial plans to break ground in 2019 were delayed. The COVID-19 pandemic delayed it even longer, LaMontagne says.
We just had a lot of things that we needed to make sure that they were gonna work before we start putting shovels in the ground.
Over time, the renderings have changed, as has the design of the surf park. He says to update technology and generate as many waves as possible, also generating more revenue. But the moment, I'm told, is finally here.
We're getting started. We're closed. Financing is done. We are on our way. And this is going to be completed in 2 years. So.
It's gotta feel good to say that.
Oh my God.
After 5 years.
You have no idea.
Yeah, I bet.
This is, when I say this is a dream come true, it's gonna change the entire Central Beach District.
The hope? To make Virginia Beach a year-round destination. And this key piece of that mission has countless local hands at work right now. But in true Virginia Beach fashion, the idea began out in the ocean. Surfers just looking to catch a few more waves.
To bring something that I love to the place that I love is, that's huge.
All these stars have aligned into a constellation that you can't make this up again.
And this young architect, not even 32 years old, couldn't ask for a bigger beginning to his career. Hundreds of millions of dollars in development that started as simply as possible. A pen and paper. In Virginia Beach, Anthony Sabella, News 3.